For the 18th round of the Integrity Octane Series this season, they take a trip to the Pocono Mountains for a trip indeed to Long Pond's premier racing circuit. The Pocono Raceway hosts the Xtreme Mountains 200 presented by Extreme Performance Motorsports and Esports, and qualifying is already halfway done. 2 minutes, 50 seconds remain on the board as it stands. Looks like it's going to be Nick Tarbuck on the provisional pole position, with more drivers making their way through as we speak. A field of over 20 drivers heads northeast for race 18 on the season, and we're glad to have you here as well. As always, I am your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Glad to have you along with us as the racing will get on its way in just a moment's notice. 80 laps ahead of us for 200 miles of action, and right now qualifying looking to determine who starts where on the starting grid. Nick Tarbuck going to be usurped by Sam Nito that time by, so the number 2 machine's on provisional pole, and now he only has it by 91 thousandths of a second, looking to keep himself on the top of the board as things get settled in. Cody Smith going to be now third in qualifying, with Ross Cato in fourth, and Kyle Trudell is going to be position number 5. Not too far behind is Nicholas Ward, who will come down to pit road this time by and conclude his qualifying run. Alan Rawell going to be on the way as well. He is scored in 9th, and it looks like from there on out, drivers such as Guillermo Alvarez, Brad Patton, Kevin Matz, Alan Dobbs, and Mike Maddox, they have yet to take a time, and they'll have to soon if they want a chance at the pole position. Seth Noel going to be on the way, coming through to turn number 3 this time by. Slowly but surely, Noel going to be trying to make his way up to the top spot. He's 5th as it stands, 0.3 of a second away. He'll have to pick up 0.2 in this remaining sector of the lap to make it work to get onto the pole. Riding on board with the number 9 machine as it stands, he's close to making it work. He's got to go through turn 3 perfect. And putting the power in as hard as he can to get that nice exit up to the wall. Seth Noel going to be driving it down, looking for the top spot and qualifying, and it looks like at the line he will barely lose it. He'll end up in 4th, very close to the pole position all the same, within 1/10 of a second, and it is still Sam Nito with Cody Smith 9/1000ths of a second adrift. From there on out, Nicholas Ward is going to be on pit road, as we mentioned. Ryan Farrell going to be with a different look today. Number 40 machine representing our sponsor for tonight's race. Keep in mind, the 93 on timing and scoring is running the Petty-inspired number 40, shades of Pete Hamilton in his 1970 Daytona 500 victory. Don Stevenson going to be on pit road as we speak. Looks like his car is all white for now. That should change as we look at Nicholas Ward also on pit road. Farrell going to make it down to line with 12 seconds to go and go up to 8th on the board. But it looks like for him, that's all he can get. Number 2 machine of Sam Nito is the fastest man in qualifying. And now, with that behind us, the race can begin. Starting grid for tonight's event going to be presented momentarily here as the Pocono Raceway is empty one final time. The drivers will load on to the starting grid and we'll get back to business after Jacob Fife's second win of the season, round 17 just a week ago. Maybe tonight we'll see a new race winner where the number 36 can head back to back. It's possible for the number 36. This is a much different track than most circuits in terms of the way you drive it. Very quick, on the throttle, almost all the time, and you've got to keep that momentum if you want a chance at the race win. Pocono Raceway now in the second practice stage of tonight's event. 5 minutes remaining for drivers to warm up just a bit more. With that in mind, a little bit of time to look to your starting grid as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Xtreme Mountains 200 starting grid for round 18 of the season here in the 2023 Integrity Octane Series. The stands are packed as they watch Sam Nito take the pole position with a 53.824, grabbing it just 1/100th of a second out of Cody Smith in his number 2 spot, solidified with a 53.834. Then going to be Nick Tarbuck rounding out the podium here and qualifying with a 53.846, and Seth Noel outside of row number 2 is there in his number 9 with a 53.907. To round out the top 5, Ross Cato, number 12, going to be put there firmly with a 54.027. Then going to be Kyle Trudell in 6th, 54.095 there, and Jacob Fife in 7th, at 54.205, just beating out Ryan Farrell in the number 93, is 54.270 to be inside of row number 4 as opposed to being outside. Then Nicholas Ward going to be in the 9th spot with Alan Rawell in 10th. Rawell in that top 10. That's his best qualifying effort of the season so far. Kyle Cooper is the final driver on the inside to take out time. Row 6 inside line with a 54.794 as John Steele finds himself in the outside row to round out the first dozen of this group. 22 machines there with a 55.16. Then going to be Guillermo Alvarez in 13th and Don Stevenson in the 14th spot, classified in these positions based on iRating. Jay Aishman's going to be in the 15th spot with a brand new number tonight in that 06. Trevor Trago in his number 37 will be right beside him outside of row number 8 in 16th. Brad Patton's going to be in the 17th spot in that number 1, and Alan Dobbs in the 05 is in 18th with Kevin Matz in the 19th position, and right next to him to round out row number 10, Jorge Canales in the number 84, 20th on the board. With the top 20 rounded out by that number 84, 2 more drivers are going to start tonight's event, notably Mike Maddox returning once again in his part-time campaign, your Daytona Clash winner looking to get it done once again at a big track, starting 21st with Randy Fash in the number 19 machine, rounding out the field and starting 22nd in the Xtreme Mountains 200 from Pocono. That is your starting grid. With that in mind, Sam Nito back on the circuit now as drivers put in their final practice laps. Over 20 drivers in the field, 22 to be exact, and each and every one of them has a chance to take home the checkered flag tonight, as packs are already forming here in second practice. Looks like a 4-car group of Sam Nito and Alan Dobbs can get up to Brad Patton, who's just a few car lengths ahead. And for the number 2 machine, winning 2 weeks ago, he has been hot in this second half, looking to keep up that momentum to get him into the playoffs firmly as he goes through turn 3 and heads up to the high side on the track. He'll let Dobbs go that time by. He's been especially quick as of recent, and it shows here in the warm-up charts. Going to be just outside of the top 5 with no timed lap. The driver he was running with, though, in Alan Dobbs, leads the way. Patton going to be second, Jorge Canales is third, and Mike Maddox is in fourth with 48 seconds remaining, counting down further until the starting grid is formed for the first time tonight. Dobbs going to go down to pit road at the same time. It looks like the 22 of John Steele will leave it, and he'll be back on his way to get a bit more practice in with just over half a minute remaining. Every second on the track matters in situations like this. If you want to learn more about your circuit that you're driving on, best thing to do is to just take more laps, get more experience, and learn how it is on a short run, a long run. Any experience can turn out to be a good thing, especially with the level of competition we've seen all season long. Now, the laps are winding down in practice, and the time is as well, which will leave Alan Dobbs as the fastest man here in warm-up. Now it's time to see whether or not he can carry that over to the main event. 80 laps, 200 miles, and we're going to be in for one great show from the Pocono Raceway. But second practice concluding, every driver disappears from the screen one final time. We take a look at the packed grandstands here, looking forward to the Xtreme Mountains 200. Sam Nito going to be the first man on the grid. It looks like his front row starting mate in Cody Smith is already there. Number 2 going to be next up to join them, as the good majority of the pack is already set to go racing tonight in the Northeast once again. So with a little bit of time before the race gets on its way, how's about we take a look at our FTN race rundown and track information for today's race, the Xtreme Mountains 200. Coming into the night, of course, as you know, 200-mile race for 80 laps and no faster pairs in Integrity Racing League competition. NASCAR Next-Gens are used for tonight's event, as always, in the Integrity Octane Series, and there will be a stage break at lap number 32 to give these drivers a chance to settle back in and look at the bigger picture, the run to the checkered flag. Their most recent winner, Jacob Fife, it was a beat and bang finish all the way to the end, but the 36 was the man who got it done, beating Seth Noel very close at the magic mile. Now he's looking to do it all over again, but at a much different track. That track being, of course, Pocono Raceway. 2.5-mile circuit in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. 4 turns, opened in the early 1970s, 1971 to be exact, and yearly it hosts the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and ARCA competition. No stranger to Indycar as well. This track has been used for several decades in professional competition. Most drivers in the Northeast have experience with it one way or another. It's had its fair share of big races, the Indycar Triple Crown for one, but as of recent, it's been home mainly to stock car action, such as the race you will see tonight. So now, where else but Pocono Raceway to get this run going in the Xtreme Mountains 200. Starting grid being formed, and it looks like right now Sam Nito up top, Seth Well in the number 9 machine right behind him, and Cody Smith slowly but surely working his way into the frame once again. 80 laps, and the iRacing official pace car will duck in for the first time tonight. Just a few seconds. The big question is, do we see long green flag runs tonight? We didn't see him all too much at New Hampshire. Grip was lacking. Turn 3 was treacherous. And drivers ended up more often involved with themselves in wrecks than anything else. Tonight, the big question is, do we see a rebound from the drivers? And maybe might just see more green flag racing in the case of that rebound, if it happens. Every driver looking forward to this one. It's a new chance to get it going once again in the big tracks, but it's not a plate race. You gotta rely on momentum and consistency to make it through, and your input is as important as the pack that's around you. Let's get it going from the Pocono Raceway, this time by the Xtreme Mountains 200 begins round 18 of the season, led by Sam Nito. And coming through turn 3 that time by the Tricky Triangle sees a new race leader in Seth Well, taking it 3 wide on the opening frame of the race. Now he finds himself out in front just like that. Well's been red hot as of recent, 2-time winner this season already, looking to go for number 3. And number 9, well, already effectively locked into the playoffs, is looking to go for yet another victory to find himself as the true clear frontrunner for the championship and its prize, which is provided by Next Level Racing. And it looks like the Next Level Racing machine 2022 champion Cody Smith is just behind the number 9 as we speak, and they are very close to one another with very little double file racing. Looks like Ryan Farrell peeked out for just a moment. He'll come right back in, and side by side will only be seen at the back of the field. Mike Maddox and Kevin Matt's going to be going at it side by side through turn 3, double file but sparsely throughout this field, as Cody Smith now finds himself out in front. Trading the lead, the number 18 does with the 9, and they'll be going back and forth all race if, of course, that is intentional. Want to use that draft to make sure you're not using as much fuel, maybe not wearing out your equipment as much. Looks like Cody Smith's going to be given a big lead by the 9 that time through. Try to get it back through the tunnel turn and keep things fair and balanced for those driving up at the front. Most recently in virtual competition, Pocono Raceway saw a fantastic finish between Briar LaPrade and Parker White in the FTF Cup Series. Briar LaPrade, who won the Road to Pro race at Pocono Raceway on FTN, 1,000th of a second behind Parker White at the stripe. And this track provides close racing and even closer finishes if everything goes to plan. For Cody Smith, he knows Seth Well is no driver to mess around with. You want to get away if you can, but if you can't, you might as well work with him until that final lap falls into play. Sam Nito's still in the picture too, with Kyle Trudell, the rookie who has only ran 2 races this season, including this one, still there in 4th. He's been very impressive this season so far, and looks to keep that up as he now has the badge of our sponsor for tonight's race, Xtreme Performance, on his door panel. He runs inside the top 5 as we speak with Nick Tarbuck. Tarbuck's still going to be there, the number 4 machine. It's a 4-car breakaway with a slight gap back to Tarbuck. Then you'll see Nicholas Ward, Jacob Fife, and Ross Cato. Ryan Farrell occupying 9th, and Guillermo Alvarez now getting pressured from Brad Patton. Patton goes right down low, and he'll use that preferred line through turn 3 to get the exit he needs, and he finds himself immediately up into 10th. Nice move for the number 1 machine, as Farrell going to stay right ahead of him in the single digits. Now the front runners remain in tow. Back-to-back-to-back positions, all single file, as Nicholas Ward looks to have a temporary disconnection. He fades back to the back of the field, but comes back in play. He is still in 6th, but we've been monitoring his hardware issues all season long, disconnecting almost once every race. A contender for sure, but he's had a lot of trouble putting it together thanks to these issues behind the virtual screen. Cody Smith going to be leading the way nevertheless. He's got Seth Well right behind, and 5 laps in on this initial 32-lap run. You don't want to push it too hard, because you know this 32-lap marker is not the race winner. 80 laps, stage break is important. Stage points can definitely do a big number in a positive sense for your chance at the title, but right now wins are everything, especially with few races remaining until the championship concludes. We've got more than half of the season, 18 races in out of 30. You cannot risk losing a chance at the win, even if it is for stage points. Got to play it a bit conservative. We have seen major wrecks for our stage victories before. Right now, the pack is strung out, so the odds of that are slim. Most drivers having a good opportunity to gain at least a few positions. There's packs all around. Second pack now forming with Alan Dobbs leading. Mike Maddox there in 14th. He's second in this second pack. Alan Rawell is just behind. We've also got Jorge Canales, Kevin Matz, and John Steele looking on. Looks like John Steele, however, has his own pack. Pack number 3, Randy Fiash, Kyle Cooper, and Trevor Trago are all within it. And Jay Haishman, with a brand new look tonight, not doing all too well so far. He's going to look to rebound as night goes on. But as it stands, he's way behind the third pack and even further behind the first and the second. Smith leads 0.3 of a second as we see this drone shot above the track. The 18 dives it deep into turn number 1 and maintains his advantage. Not too far behind, the hard-charging number 9 is, with Sam Nito still third and Kyle Trudell still right behind. As it stands, it's almost the opposite of what we saw in the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Not as eventful, not as tricky to drive, at least it looks to be. Drivers are all holding together, very calm, very consistent lines and lap times. Right now, they're all looking to get to the end in one piece. Single file all throughout the frame, save for the number 83 machine in the back of the field, and it looks like his teammate in the number 84. Now, Jorge Canales goes down to the bottom side on Alan Rawell, looking to make a pass. He'll get that spot, and it looks like he will be able to get it for 15th. Rawell, though, gets a run at the stripe, and Kevin Matz takes it 3 wide. This is now going to be a 3-wide battle. It's Matz down to the bottom, Alvarez in the middle, and it looks like it's going to be Kevin and Matz who's the big winner of this race through. Nice move for the number 50. He'll take both spots in one run down the front stretch. Leading still is Cody Smith up in the front of the field. Seth Noel still there too. And right now, the closest battle appears to be with Ryan Farrell, who's getting closer and closer to the back end of Ross Cato. Now it seems like it's a 2-car breakaway for the race lead. Rest of the field all the way down to Don Stevenson in 12. They're connected with one another. Looks like there's no signs of making any risky moves, or are there? Jacob Fife going to go up high as soon as we say that. And it looks like now Fife trying to make it go down to the number 12 machine. Going to be Ross Cato out of the line, almost out of his groove. It'll keep it going. Have to fight Jacob Fife to live another lap. Now, Ryan Farrell switches his alliance to the high side, and he'll have Ross Cato working down on the bottom to keep him at bay. Looks like Brad Patton going to make it troublesome for the 93. Farrell runs up high, and Brad's going to try to take the spot immediately thereafter. 18 machine has the advantage even still. Seth Noel was close to his back bumper, but he's laid off just a bit, giving the chance to drivers like Nito and Trudell, 3rd and 4th respectively, Nick Tarbuck in 5th, and then Nicholas Ward in 7th. Jacob Fife going to drop down on the inside line once again, and he's looking a bit more aggressive than before. The recent winner, defending winner, Now looking to go 2 for 2 in 2 successive weeks. 36 drops down to the bottom once again, tries to take at the number 97. Nicholas Ward does not give in, and he will stay just ahead of Fife. Nicholas Ward going to stay in 6th, Jacob Fife 7th, and Ross Cato going to be in 8th, with Ryan Farrell 9th, and Brad Patton still there in position number 10. Guillermo Alvarez is 11th with Don Stevenson in 12th, and Alan Dobbs is still there in 13th with Mike Maddox in 14th and Kevin Matz in 15th. Cody Smith, still your leading man, has the entire field at his fingertips. Top dozen still in the frame, going back to Don Stevenson, and 10 laps through out of 80. The beautiful number 18 machine, sporting the colors of premier partner Next Level Racing, holds the field at bay. Seth going to be still 2nd, Sam Nito's 3rd, Kyle Trudell is there in 4th. Now that we got a long run going, how's about we take a look on board with a driver who's been making moves and making them big, Jacob Fife. Let's take a look inside his number 36. And as we ride along with the number 36, Jacob Fife, league owner of the Integrity Racing League, hoping to hold down the bottom side and get it on Nicholas Ward, but it's a pinch right there, and he gets close to tapping the 97's quarter panel. Luckily, keeps it there, keeps it intact. 4th gear, 8,600 revs a minute. The next gens have 5 gears, and it looks like he just switched up to 5th. This is a shifting track. In recent years, it hasn't been described as such, but it was once considered an oval that drove like a road course. Pocono Raceway, of course, much different from most ovals in shape and its characteristics. You gotta drive it perfect through every turn. They're all very different. Some drivers even consider going down to 3rd gear through turn 3. Looks like there, Fife chooses not to, as he's still right behind Nicholas Ward. Side by side, going to be ahead of the 97 now. Looks to be Nick Tarbuck going down on Kyle Trudell. And now Tarbuck trying to drop it inside the top 4. He'll make that move in. It looks like it sticks. And Sam Nito going to be there in the 3rd position, running right up behind the Verizon number 2. Now the 36 machine follows the 4 down and in. Double file going to be seen a bit more prevalent as of recent. 12 laps in, make it a dozen. Moves are starting to be made throughout the pack. Ross Cato now going to be following the move maker of Jacob Fife. Fife going to be able to clear the number 97. Now Ross going to get a shove from Ryan Farrell down the stretch, going at a speed of 160 miles an hour before the 3rd and final turn. Now the pack is truly going to be breaking way up ahead. It's 2 drivers, Cody Smith, Seth Noel. Class of the field so far as we have 20 laps remaining in your first stage. The Xtreme Mountains 200 broken up into 2 stages tonight. First stage, 32 laps. Second goes to lap number 80. And number 9 still holds the number 7 at bay, but it looks like right now the 18 has everyone, and Cody Smith still keeps that lead. But down to the bottom, Seth Noel will go. Now going to be side by side for the top spot of the running order. The Napa Know-How machine tries to get a look at it, and it looks like he will. Seth Noel to the race lead. It's going to be Cody Smith dropping back into 2nd, and Kyle Trudell then going to be in 3rd. Sam Nito now going to be in the 4th spot as Trudell tries to make it work past the 18, and the rookie, who's only ran 2 races this season, now looking to go for his first win. Putting on an impressive show for the first time here at the Poconos in this league. He's now down to the bottom side on Seth Well, and there's a new competitor up in front. Door banging, Trudell's going to get a bit of a rub from Well on the high side, and now the 7 drops it deep, and it looks like it is Seth with the advantage. Seth Noel able to take that lead back, but it looks like it is not going to be a finished job. 7 goes down low. Once more, going to be Seth Noel up high. Kyle Trudell down on that bottom, using the tunnel turn where the low side is especially preferred. Trudell is going to dive it deep, but Noel going to be able to use that momentum on the high side to still carry a bit more and try to clear him. Does not work that time by, but it looks like the 7 will end up conceding. He'll get to the back bumper of Seth once again. Now Kyle Trudell putting on a real big fight for the race lead. He's just 1 spot behind the top. He wants to take it sooner than later. Right on board with Kyle Trudell here in just a moment. You're looking at Seth Welch front end view. Take a look at his quarter panel. Trudell out of frame. Now the 7 machine goes down to the bottom side of corner number 1. Tries to make it work. Does not make it stick perfectly. They're going to be side by side off the corner once again. Well, going to give him a run for his money and take that lead as they switch places. Now Seth going to be down to the bottom, and it is going to be Trudell up high. Well, going to drive it all the way back up. And just like that, the 9 is clear again with Jacob Fife now in frame. He'll be in third side by side with Cody Smith. And just like that, new drivers in the picture looking for this race win. Jacob Fife now going to be in third. Looks like it's going to be Seth Well, of course, up in front. And it looks like now Kyle Trudell gets down to the bottom once again, looking to take that race lead. Trudell's got a shot to go down to the bottom and make it stick through turn 1. Modeled after the Trenton Speedway, 14 degrees of banking through turn 1. And Trenton going to be taken quite nicely by Seth. Well, keeps the advantage up in front. Then going to be Kyle Trudell racing with Cody Smith as we have a spin in Brad Patton. Patton's going to go around. It's a huge hit, and 16 laps in, we have our first caution of the day. Brad Patton, Guillermo Alvarez, and a big wreck as the number 83 is irreparable. Patton might be able to get out of it just fine. That we will see. Let's take an instant replay and find out just what happened. As we take a look 30 seconds back, Brad Patton, Guillermo Alvarez going at it in the middle of the field. Looks like Patton going to drop down to the bottom here. Alvarez just behind. And Patton, who was in front by a sizable margin, might have gotten caught up here with Nicholas Ward. That he does. Contact with Ward, Farrell, then Alvarez. And he knocks the 83 right off his spot. And it's a huge hit there as Guillermo Alvarez going to drop down to dead last on the order. And he's hardly able to keep that thing going. Looks like the front of his machinery, 83, it's all bent up. Left front is almost unusable. Spins around trying to keep it going. And just like that, Guillermo Alvarez down one lap, involved with Brad Patton for the first caution of the day. As we head back to the live feed, Patton, Alvarez first caution. Just like that, Seth Well, 17 laps in, is your race leader, with Kyle Trudell second, Cody Smith third, then Ross Cato there in fourth. It's going to be Nick Tarbuck in the fifth spot, Jacob Fife in sixth, and Sam Nito going to be seventh, Ryan Farrell eighth, Nicholas Ward ninth, Don Stevenson there in 10th. Top 10 still right in the picture. Stevenson's been inside that top 12, but now gets a chance to fight up in front as we see two drivers fade back big time. Patton only going to be scored in 11th right now, but we're almost certain that damage will have to be repaired on pit road to keep on going. Taking a close-up look, number 1 machine doesn't have back-end damage, but as you take a look at the front, certainly big problem for the number 1. And now pit road going to be open for the first time tonight. Seth Well does not go in. He's going to see that Kyle Trudell fakes it, but now drivers are going to make it through. Cody Smith going to lead, Jacob Fife in. It looks like it's going to be Nicholas Ward there too. And pit road is active with many drivers faking, some drivers having to go in. The back of the field comes in as well, and it's about a half and half split. Cody Smith in 10th now leads him through. Jacob Fife going to be 11th, and the rest of the pack comes in just behind. And now with pit road occupied, take a look at the battle on pit row in just a moment. Pit exit going to be displayed as they come through this time by. It's going to be one driver already off, but Cody Smith has the advantage to make it out early, and it looks like he will take it. Cody Smith wins off pit road. Jacob Fife going to be just behind, and then it will be Randy Fiash with Kevin Matz, Alan Rawell, Mike Maddox, then going to be John Steele, Kyle Cooper. Just behind Kyle Cooper, it looks to be Jay Haishman. Robert Trago scored in 19th, coming out immediately thereafter. Seth Well going to be the leader overall. He's got buffers including Trudell, Cato, Tarbuck, Nito, Ryan Farrell, Don Stevenson, Alan Dobbs, and Jorge Canales. So 9 drivers stay out, and it looks like the rest of the field is in pit road for one reason or another. 9 drivers stay out. It looks like a total of 10 drivers pit. And then you'll see Brad Patton in for repairs, Nicholas Ward disconnected for just a moment, and Guillermo Alvarez is in for repairs as well. It's a split. Drivers going for the stage points, drivers going for the race win. Seth Well opts to stay out. He knows he can risk it on strategy with multiple wins in the bag already. and try something new and see whether or not it works. 18 laps, still just over halfway in your first stage. Lap 32 will bring out the first scheduled caution. And as they come around this time by, Seth Well going to choose the high side here as we take a look at the drone shots to show you who chooses where. Looks like Kyle Trudell going to opt to go down to the bottom. He'll take Ross Cato there with them. Nick Tarbuck going to go there too. Then going to be Sam Nito. However, it looks like now Tarbuck goes right up. Ryan Farrell going to be behind the number 4. Then Don Stevenson going to be there in frame. Stevenson, there will be Alan Dobbs right beside him in row number 4. And then Jorge Canales, Cody Smith, Jacob Fife, as Alan Rodwell going to be up high in row number 6 as they all get settled in. 19 laps out of 80. Seth Noel as the race lead. Rookie Kyle Trudell, who was only in his second race of competition, looking to get it done and find himself in victory lane for the very first time in his Integrity Racing career. He's got an opportunity to end up on the top of the podium just his second start. Pace car's lights are off this time by, the signal is on. These drivers will be racing at lap number 20, and they'll hope to go from there with only 13 laps remaining in the stage. The Xtreme Mountains 200 from Pocono has just begun, brought to you by Extreme Performance, Motorsports, and Esports, a team that's been open for 19 years, starting in 2004, proudly sponsoring those such as Kyle Trudell and Mike Maddox, as the field sees multiple Extreme Performance machines in the pack tonight in Pocono. However, Seth Noel has been the man who's led the pack for most of this race, and he hopes to keep that dominance up until the checkered flag falls. Now with a difference in strategy, some drivers preferring to go for lap 80, some others looking to chase the stage point and get it done by lap number 32. What's going to be the best move for the end of the race? That remains to be seen as we fly through turn 3 this time by. The pace car is going to be off, and it'll be Seth Well who leads them through, and as the green flag flies, the first restart's underway. Seth Noel has the advantage going through turn 1. He's going to have it through Trenton, and it's going to be Nick Tarbuck right behind him, with Kyle Trudell barely hanging on inside the podium. Now they'll come to the tunnel turn this time by, and the tunnel turn, like the first turn, modeled after another famous circuit in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Heading through Indianapolis, it's going to be Noel leading the single file field, and it looks like from there on out, the first battle going to be just behind your top 10 with Kevin Matz and Alan Rawell. Now Seth Noel takes him through the Milwaukee Miles-inspired corner, 6 degrees of banking, the least out of any turn on this track, and through Milwaukee, it's going to be Nick Tarbuck back in the picture, looking to take the race lead for his own. Ross Cato's got a monster runoff corner exit, and it looks like he will stay on the bumper and fake down high. It looks like it's going to be down low. Looks like he will have a shot through turn 1 once again. Gets us a little twisted there, saying down high, but he does take it up just a bit, then drops down immediately thereafter. Now the number 12 machine of Ross Cato finds himself on the bottom, and he'll have to block. Seth Noel does, as he tries to balance momentum between the number 4 and the number 12. Still has the advantage though, does not give it up, and 21 laps in, the 9 machine has still the race lead by 0.2 of a second. And now Nick Tarbuck going to be single file alone in his pursuit of the leader. Sam Nito going to be side by side with Ross Cato. Cato going to be down to the bottom, and Sam Nito going to be up high in that number 2 machine. And the Verizon driver going to try to keep himself in the picture here. Looks like he will be able to do just that, getting a good run off Ross Cato to stay just inside the top 4. Trudell going to go down to the bottom, trying to make it 3 wide for the lead. He does not choose to finish that move. He'll go down to the bottom, however, with Nick Tarbuck. Now Tarbuck going to be able to clear for the race lead, and it is the number 4 out in front. Seth Well going to drop back in a second. Now, Kyle Trudell once again in third. Looking back, it's going to be a close battle just behind as the race lead's going to heat up once again through the tunnel turn. Door banging with Seth Well and Nick Tarbuck. Make it 3 wide with Kyle Trudell, but Trudell going to back off just a bit and instead go for second. Drops down to the bottom side with Sam Nito right there on him. It's going to be 3 wide once again. Ross Cato going to be up high, and he's going to be sending it up there, trying to make a move on all the drivers up on the front. Door bangs once again. Trudell going to get off the line. It's 3 wide at the stripe. Advantage now to Ross Cato, trying to steal second from both Sam Nito and Kyle Trudell. And that he does. Cato now in the podium, looking for his first win of the season. Been turning it on as of recent. This number 12 has very quick, putting together his best performances week after week. And now, with his first podium behind him, he's looking for the first win of the season, trying to get something done in the Fast Forward Esports Ford Mustang that he hasn't done all year long. Nick Tarbuck still has the edge, however, and it's going to be Ross Cato still there in the second spot. Sam is going to be in third. Nito drops down low, and side by side now it's Cody Smith and Alan Dobbs with Jacob Fife backing up this battle, trying to get involved with it himself to try to take one spot or two. The 36 remains just behind Cody Smith and keeps him in the fight. And now 24 laps out of 89 laps remain until the stage break comes into effect, and the number 4 machine of Nick Tarbuck now has the advantage with a forever tribute to Kevin Harvick, and his Chevy Camaro has the 29 on the hood. Both numbers Kevin Harvick drove in his illustrious 20-plus season career in the NASCAR Cup Series, a Busch Series champion, and a NASCAR Cup Series champion in 2014. One of the most winning drivers in the series history. Right now, looking to do what Kevin Harvick has done many times before, take a race win. And we're going to drop down to the bottom side all over again, still looking for an opportunity to take it from Nick Tarbuck. Doesn't have it that time by, but who tries to U the run off the corner, and the corner gives him good momentum, good enough to stay bumper to bumper. Lap 25 this time by, going to be Nick Tarbuck still leading them through, and Alan Dobbs now going to be just ahead of a battle side by side between Ryan Farrell and Kevin Matz. Matt's going to drop down low that time by on the Extreme Performance Machine, number 50, looking for a top 10, get himself back on the right track in contention with the second half of the field, almost always, now looking to be consistently up at the top half of this group. Cato going to be down to the bottom once again, going to be the Tarbuck machine heading right up high. Sam Nito going to be third, and Kyle Trudell, he's there in fourth. Looking back, Jacob Fife now going to be side by side, and he'll be there with Alan Dobbs. Dobbs down to the bottom. Well, it looks like he can't be, as Jacob Fife takes the spot from him immediately thereafter. Leading the way, Nick Tarbuck going to take it once again. Tarbuck, Ross Cato, Sam Nito, Kyle Trudell is there in fourth. Top 4 drivers separate by only 0.4 of a second. Top 10 separate by 2 seconds. Still a very close pack overall as we come to lap number 26. Get it on the move. Closest battle on the racing circuit now appears to be between Jay Haishman and Kyle Cooper. Jay able to recover quite nicely, putting himself in 13th now, trying to get up to the front of the pack, making moves. That's the goal for the 06 now, after seeing him outside the top 20 early in the going. Now he's on the way, looking to consistently find himself fighting for the top 10, only a few spots back tonight. The chance he gets it done if push comes to shove. Nick Tarbuck, though, still going to be shoving up in the front of the field as your race leader. Ross Cato still going to be in second, and Sam Nito now is in third. Trudell lying back in fourth, and Cody Smith in fifth. It's Jacob's Fife, position number 6. Top 6 drivers going to be breaking away from Seth Noel now. It looks like the old tire is not working out for him tonight. 27 laps of his Goodyear rubber have been used up so far, and it's showing as he slowly but surely fades away from those up at the front of the field. 7th spot currently occupied by the number 9 machine, a multi-time winner this season. He doesn't have all too much to worry about in that regard, but he'd love to be chasing that win. Looked very dominant early in the going, but now being displaced by Smith and Fife on new tire, it's been a struggle for him to get back up to the back of the front pack. But Tarbuck still leading. He's got the buffers in Sam Nito and Kyle Trudell to keep him up there. Cody Smith leads all drivers on a new set of rubber, 9 laps on his end, and Jacob Fife in the 5th spot with the same amount of tire wear now drops down to the bottom, trying to make it a switchover maneuver to get by the number 18. Fife going to be dropping it way down low to try to take it through Trenton, but it looks like for now he has no choice but to stay right behind the Next Level Racing Chevy Camaro. Kyle Trudell going to be there in third, and Sam Nito going to be in second. Either way, it is still Nick Tarbuck leading. He has had control for the vast majority of this run. Side by side going to be seen with Kyle Trudell and Jacob Fife. It's going to be that number 7 machine who has to lay off, though, letting Jacob Fife into the 4th spot as the second caution going to fly just before our stage break. Mike Maddox going to be around with big trouble in number 30. An instant replay on the matter will show you Mike Maddox just went around in his 30 machine. Looks like trouble for the Extreme Performance Chevy Camaro. And as we look at it once again, the number 30, Kevin Matz, and Matz getting up to him, trying to put a run down on the quarter panel, and it looks like they're side by side going through the tunnel turn. Matt's going to proceed to get right into his quarter panel, send him deep, and the spin brings out the yellow. Just like that, 29 laps in out of 80. Looks like there's a chance this caution overlaps with your stage break. All things considered, second caution of the night, and that might have been your stage yellow, with Nick Tarbuck leading the way. Lap number 29, we expect to go green. Lap 32, if not lap 33. And with that in mind, it's going to get risky here. Very little time left in the stage, if any at all. And with such a small amount of time, 1 lap at the very most remaining, it's going to be troublesome for all these drivers. Maybe they're going to get riskier trying to go for the bonus points, or they're going to lay back. Some might go to pit road. Some might opt to stay out. Predictions might be in minds of other drivers, but nobody's really sure of who does what. It was a big fake out on pit road last time by, so honesty might be a bit hard to come by around here in Pocono Raceway, as pit road is the most important part of strategy tonight. It's easy to hang in a pack, but it's hard to have that advantage, and good tires might just give you. You need to separate yourself from the rest. As they come around turn 3 once again for the final time, 6 degrees of banking in the final corner here at the Pocono Raceway, and Nick Tarbuck has the advantage coming to the 30th lap of action, and they're all going to dive in this time by save for Jacob Fife. Fife stays out. Nick Tarbuck leads the pack in, and pit road is busy here as the number 36 leaves the rest of the field hanging. It's Jacob Fife and Kyle Cooper out in front. Tarbuck and the remainder of the pack all come down to pit road at once. It's going to be Jacob Fife, Kyle Cooper, and Nicholas Ward out on the track. The reason for Nicholas Ward being out there is he's getting laps back. Currently finds himself on the lead lap, so it looks like that's the final lap he had to get back. He'll be good to go once again as the Pro Powder and Paint number 36 leads the way. Take a look at your camera. Off pit exit. Going to be a huge run off the corner, as it looks like it's going to be a very close win. Sam Nito beats off Cody Smith. Then it's going to be Nick Tarbuck, followed shortly by Kyle Trudell. Ross Cato going to be just ahead of Alan Dobbs. Then going to be Jay Haishman, Kevin Matz, and then Jorge Canales. Going to see Don Stevenson, with Trevor Trago, and Alan Rawwell just ahead of Randy Fiash, John Steele, and Seth Well, who finds himself with a very slow 54-second pit stop, drops into the back of the field just like that. 36 machine of Jacob Fife has the advantage. Your defending winner doesn't have to worry all too much about strategy per se for this race, in a similar spot to Seth Well, in the fact he has multiple race wins, and he's been on a very good tear as of recent, so he's going to try to experiment and go for the stage points to remain out in front as we look to be scheduled for a green flag return at lap number 32, giving us 1 lap before things go back to the yellow flag for our stage caution. So effectively a 1-lap shootout, then your stage break at lap number 32. Conclusion, from there on out we should be able to go, or at least have a chance, keep it all green. Jacob Fife going to lead Kyle Cooper down to the stripe once again, as Cooper looks for some much-needed stage points as well. Number 73 machine, 12 laps of rubber on his end. This is a big opportunity for him to pick up some stage points and find himself closer to the playoff bubble, where, of course, every driver would like to be. Now they're double file. It's going to be a 1-lap dash in the stage. The white and green will wave simultaneously, and it's going to be the stage break that comes up immediately thereafter that sends panic, of course, for some drivers who stayed out, only 2 of which more than likely, they'll have to head down pit road and sacrifice their track position. 31 laps in out of 80, the Xtreme Mountains 200 from the Pocono Raceway has given us some fantastic action so far. Second caution of the day is so close to overlapping with our stage break, but instead we still have one more green flag lap to decide who gets stage points and who does not. Jacob Fife, Kyle Cooper opt to risk it and go for the stage points, while Cody Smith and Sam Nito lead those on new sets of Goodyear rubber to the stripe, looking to play it safe for not only this stage, but for the race win overall. Let's see which strategy works and which will crumble as the tunnel turn takes the field through once again. Two drivers who have not been leading all this race, now going to be up in front in a position they're somewhat unfamiliar with in this race, to say the least. So it's going to be tricky for drivers to negotiate around these two who have not had the experience with the lead pack. I mean, Jacob Fife has, however, he's not been, for the most part, involved with the battle, particularly for the lead. For Fife now, he's in a brand new spot. For Kyle Cooper, this is the highest position he's been by a wide margin tonight. And they're both looking to capitalize big with only one more lap ahead of them in this stage. It's going to be the green and the white flying this time by for the last lap of stage number 1. Jacob Fife, Kyle Cooper lead him through as the green flag's out. One lap to go here in stage number 1. And Jacob Fife going to lead him through that time by with a clear advantage. It's going to be Kyle Cooper choking up on the outside line. Now it looks like Sam Nito's got a clear advantage to take it into turn 1 and send it deep on the number 73. Fife's got a major advantage, though. It's going to take an awful lot to claw back to him. And it looks like even still, Kyle Cooper occupies the second spot side by side. He'll need a fantastic run-off corner exit to solidify it. It looks like Sam Nito will back off and let the 73 go right through. Jacob Fife has the advantage with only one corner remaining here in the stage. One driver drops down low. That's going to be Ross Cato. And with Fife having such a major lead, the question is who gets second here in stage number 1. Kyle Cooper drives it way deep. Might be troublesome for him with a drag race at the line, but it will be Jacob Fife clearly getting it done, winning stage number 1. It's going to be Jacob Fife, winner of your first stage, leading us to a stage break. Fife gets it done for the first stage. The caution will fly momentarily. Kyle Cooper scored in second, and as every driver makes it by, lap number 32 is over. Now the stage break expected momentarily. 33 laps in out of 80. The second stage has begun. Admins might not be throwing out the caution, it looks like, because of the most recent incident, which means now we'll still stay green. Looks like the admin's going to overwrite the usual condition as Kyle Cooper gets very loose, and just after his biggest lap of the race, getting bonus points, he will fade back, and the 73 will find himself mired just inside the top 5, but slowing down big time. Jacob Fife has the lead with a 15-lap-old stint on the tires, older than anyone else in the field, save for, of course, Kyle Cooper. And now the new tires are chasing him and chasing him quick. Lap 34, and now Cody Smith and Kyle Trudell are both pushing as hard as they can. And for Cody Smith and his number 18 machine, Next Level Racing, having a fantastic run on board with our 2022 season champion. Great to have Next Level Racing aboard as a premier partner of the Integrity Racing League and the Integrity Octane Series. You need anything related to your sim rig, be sure to visit nextlevelracing.com for high-quality sim racing performance products for sim racers as dedicated as ever who deserve nothing but the best. Since 2009, Next Level Racing providing sim racing performance equipment. Visit their website at nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast. We'll be back after a brief promotional break. And as we return from our next level racing promotional break, the number 18 machine involved with a fierce battle for the lead as Jacob Fife still occupies the top spot. Kyle Trudell going to be working back to get to the second position. It's a three-car battle led still by Jacob Fife. 36 machine leads at lap number 36, and he's still trying to hold off on those old tires where Kyle Cooper has fallen back big. It looks like Fife still has a chance to keep it in there, just barely holding on ahead of the number 7. Gonna get loose that time by though and try to defend the bottom side. He goes back up high, and now Trudell's got a real shot to go down to the inside and take the position back once again. Looks like he doesn't though. He'll stay down on the bottom, try to get a run off corner number 3, and that he does. Jacob Fife wiggles once, and now Kyle Trudell's got a major opportunity to go for him this time by, make the move for the race lead, and maybe bring Cody Smith there with him. With Jacob Fife still ahead, Kyle Trudell pushing as hard as ever, and Cody Smith there in third. It's a three-car breakaway up at the front of the field. Sam Nito in second, and Nick Tarbuck there in fifth. My apologies, Nito down fourth position. Looks like he's faded back just a bit more as he finds himself just outside of the podium. Ross Cato going to be there in sixth, and Seth Well is driven all the way up into seventh already. Looks very quick right now, but with all the track position he lost, it's going to be very challenging to get back up in front. That time by, he was quicker than all of your top 3 drivers. It's clicking in that number 9 machine right now in terms of race pace as Kyle Trudell takes the race lead. The rookie this season gets himself out in front once again, and now the number 7's got a shot to lead to the halfway marker. Jacob Fife, having none of it, stays right behind him and continues to battle as he heads to the bottom side of the circuit. Trudell still has the race lead, however. It's going to be the number 7 out of the first corner, still with that edge. Then going to be Jacob Fife in second, and Cody Smith there in third. Sam Nito now going to be in fourth, dropping down to the bottom. Nick Tarbuck as Tarbuck tries to take a spot away from Ross Cato. This is the battle for the 5th position on the racing circuit. Looks like right now it's going to be the number 12 machine who has that edge, but just barely on the high side as Tarbuck lunges it deep and takes it through corner number 3. He'll have the preferable exit and take himself back up inside the top 5. Sam Nito going to be there in fourth, and then Cody Smith going to be in third. Top 3 drivers are still going to be Cody Smith, then Jacob Fife, then Kyle Trudell. Trudell leads the way, even still, number 7 machine out in front by 0.2 of a second. Then Jacob Fife going to be there in the second spot. Still runner-up despite the age on his tire. Looks like Kyle Cooper just went down a pit road to get himself a new set of Goodyear rubber. 3 laps down as is, and the gamble while working in the short term has certainly messed him up. He finds himself in 20th, several laps behind. Trudell still has the edge here, and the closest battle on the racing circuit is going to be between Don Stevenson and Kevin Matz. Matz going to be up high in the 9th position. Stevenson now goes down low and dives in immediately, taking the spot away and leaving the battle behind him. Now in the single digits firmly, Stevenson and his number 48. My apologies there, the 47 getting 1 spot back and getting 1 number lower than the 48 machine. Stevenson now going to occupy the 9th position. Alan Dom is going to be there in 8th. Seth Well going to be in 7th. Now Ross Cato going to be side by side there with him. This would be for the 6th position if Seth Well gets it. And it looks like Well will not for now, but he had a shot to go forward. Ross occupies the spot just outside the top 5, and he holds on to it. Just keeping the battle alive, though, Seth Well will stay in tow, 1/10 of a second adrift from spot number 6. And now, down to the bottom, it'll be Cody Smith on Jacob Fife. This could be the pass that will solidify Jacob Fife slowly but surely fading back in the field. Old tires, they have been troublesome for the 36. Has not been able to hold on to the leading fight, but now he's losing touch with second. Cody Smith looks to be a bit quicker, and especially that time by, it showed. At the stripe, Jacob Fife put up a lap that was a few hundredths of a second slower. It was Jacob Fife's 54.415 compared to Cody Smith's 54.374, and it is definitely a slower time. The question is it consistently slower for Fife? Now maintains a little bit more control on the high side with so many drivers following him through. Cody Smith now going to be playing on offense. As they go through the tunnel turn once again, the halfway point of this race has been reached. 40 laps remaining as we speak, and it looks like right now it is Kyle Trudell who still finds himself in the lead. Going to be then Jacob Fife in second, Sam Nito in third, and Cody Smith side by side for fourth, trying to make it work off Nick Tarbuck. And now just behind this frame, Seth Noel is in sixth. He'll try to get up there with these drivers still fighting in the middle of the pack. Looks like now just a few seconds away. Cody Smith going to be there in the fifth spot now, fading back just a little bit more. He used up the tires a bit earlier than those such as Nick Tarbuck and Sam Nito, giving them an opportunity to come back a bit later in this run to try to have a chance to compete with Jacob Fife as his tires slowly but surely lose more speed, lose more grip, and become less effective as the run goes on. 39 laps remaining as we speak, going to 38 this time by in the front of the field, while all single file is very aggressive, every position being looked for. And the closest spot, of course, when it comes to a battle, not going to be back in the field, but as we take a look, Ryan Farrell now going to be in 13th, just behind pack number 2. Going to be Kevin Matz just behind Alan Dobbs and Don Stevenson. Stevenson going to be controlling pack number 2 as it stands, and that number 47 machine with that control trying to hold on to a spot within the top 10. Looks like Kevin Matz is in 10th, embedded is Alan Dobbs in 9th, Don Stevenson in 8th, Jay Haishman just behind the number 50 machine there in 11th. So he's got a chance now to top 10. As we mentioned, a major recovery from the start of this race, losing so much time and so many positions early in the going, only to find himself now in a much better position to go until the end of the race in contention. Much more competitive drive than it looked to be as Ryan Farrell's in trouble that time by, and Farrell gonna fade to the bottom and lock up the tires, and he's in trouble, gonna get bounced by Alan Rawell, and that will bring out caution number 3. And the caution flies just like that for the number 40 machine, and the extreme performance number 40 is in trouble. Ryan Farrell gonna tow it down a pit road as we take an instant replay and find out just what happened. It looks like going through turn 2 alone, gets loose, and it looks like he locks it down, but comes back up the trap, hitting the rumble. It looks like Alan Rawell gonna dive into him. Rawell unable to stop it as Farrell gets a huge back end hit, and Rawell gets a huge hit on the front end. So we'll see how it was from the perspective of Alan Rawell there. He takes a nasty hit as well, and it looks like the number 43 unable to expect that 93 coming back up. We'll see if there's any time to hit the brakes. And as we come through turn number 2's exit, it looks like Rawell dives down low. Farrell goes there as well. Both drivers going to the same spot, which will bring out the caution with a huge hit on the back end of Ryan Farrell, who's already retired from this event. Alan Rawell, it's going to be a struggle for him to keep on racing. The front end is caved in. It is definitely a huge challenge to keep that thing running. We'll see whether or not the motor expires through the caution as the hood is gone. The front bumper is still there, but definitely takes a big beating as with 37 laps to go, Kyle Trudell still holds on out in front. Now with the caution flying, drivers will come down to pit road. This time through, Trudell leads them in. It looks like now the front of the pack all coming in unison, no matter where they were before. Big save for Jacob Fife. He remains in the second spot coming into pit road. Gives him a chance to continue contending, even though he risked it for stage points. Stage winner, and now in a much better position to go for the race win, it is Cody Smith, only driver on the lead lap, staying out on the track. Major risk for him with 36 laps remaining. We'll be heading back green with 34 laps to go. As we take a look now at our pit exit camera, Cody Smith, your race leader, and now we have ourselves a battle off. Going to be Kevin Matz winning off of pit road, not to be outdone by Ross Cato, Kyle Trudell, Sam Nito, and Jacob Fife. Then going to be Nick Tarbuck, Jay Haishman, Seth Noel, and Randy Fiash to round out your top 10, with Don Stevenson, Jorge Canales, and Alan Dobbs, with John Steele and Trevor Trago making up the top 15 in this field. That's a big change for certain, and now Cody Smith has the major advantage into the front of the field. Kevin Matt's now going to be in second. That's a huge twist for him. Ross Cato now up to third once again. Trudell makes it out with a nice pit stop as well. Sam Nito and Jacob Fife, solid jobs there. Nick Tarbuck and Seth Well now going to have Chase Haishman sandwiched in between them. This puts Haishman inside the single digits for the first time tonight, chasing down maybe even more than the top 10. And with 36 laps remaining here in the Xtreme Mountains 200 Pocono Raceway, more than halfway through our one visit on the season, Cody Smith now has the keys to the field. He's got that top spot, track position, but the big thing for him is he's on an older set of tire, risking it more than most of the drivers are. There's nobody out there with them, so if he falls, there's no one else to sort of keep him up there as a buffer. He'll have to rely on what else but himself. I don't think there's anything else, as now with 35 laps to go, drivers get to choose their role once again. Going to be Cody Smith down low and Ross Cato up high. Kyle Trudell and Sam Nito make up the second row. As now, the 18 machine leads the way for Next Level Racing 2022 Integrity Racing League Championship winner Cody Smith finds himself up in front of the field. 18 machine going to be the first spot, and it's going to be Ross Cato there in second. Every driver this season chasing the $2,000 in value sim rig given out by Next Level Racing as the championship bonus. As it stands, the playoff picture goes as follows. Going to be put on your screen right now. Drivers in gold are locked in because they have made the minimum amount of starts required and have a race win. Drivers in green have victories or are in on points but are not necessarily locked in. Your blue driver is currently the driver on the bubble. He's the driver that every driver in the red would want to chase down. So if you are in the position as it stands of Ryan Farrell, he's there in the playoffs, but he's not there safely. He's going to have to keep on pushing if he wants to keep himself in the championship picture. It's a risky spot to be in, but a solid night tonight does not look to be going his way. He'll fade back a few spots after this wreck that just happened, and that will bring us now your third restart of the event. Cody Smith down low, then going to be Ross Cato up high, and with 35 laps to go, heading now to 34, Cody Smith will lead him through once again. As they come down this time by restart 3 in effect, led by the 18 with a huge jump on the rest of the field. Cody Smith going to be able to dive up in front of the pack, take that race lead with Ross Cato in second. Kyle Trudell going to occupy the third spot, and Sam Nito going to be right there in fourth. Then Jacob Fife going to be inside the top 5 for just a moment. Looks like Nick Tarbuck going to steal his thunder and get right ahead. Now Tarbuck going to be there in fifth. Jay Haishman holds on in 7th. Now Seth Well, as we take a look on board, is chasing down the 06 machine, looking to make quick work of him as he goes by through turn 3. And Well going to be able to make a spot up just like that. Jay Haishman holds on just behind. We'll see if he tries to get the crossover maneuver going, and that he does. Now Haishman going to work to the bottom side of the front stretch, getting closer and closer. He'll let off this time through, which signals Seth Well is in the clear. Jacob Fife is his next target here, looking for another spot. These two raced each other at New Hampshire for the race win, and things got aggressive later in the going. Looks like as it stands, they've been racing each other cleanly, so no worries of an intentional wreck. Even still, you're in the position of Jacob Fife. It's a risky spot to be in with a driver you raced so aggressively with just a week ago on your back bumper. Anything could happen in that scenario, but for Cody Smith right now, he's not worried about those behind him. He's just got to keep hitting his marks to maintain his race lead. And in a situation like this where you got that track position and nobody's coming for you side by side in any battle, it's a nice position to be in for a change. But he knows that if he makes one slip up, misses his apex, loses his speed or momentum, it could be Ross Cato chomping at the back bumper of his number 18, trying to make a move for the lead. Right now, Cody Smith still has that advantage, and he makes every turn worth the while. But if Ross Cato senses the opportunity, I'm certain that he'll take it. Kyle Trudell there in third too. He would have nothing to lose. He's only been in this league for less than half the season. So of course, the checkered flag is the biggest thing for him. A win is everything. This situation, especially just a few spots behind the top spot with only 32 laps to go in this race. Coming that time around, it is still Cody Smith as your leading driver. Then going to be Ross Cato in second, Kyle Trudell in third, and Sam Nito in fourth. Nick Tarbuck there in fifth. Jacob Fife going to be sixth spot on the order. Then Seth Well going to be in seventh with Don Stevenson in eighth. As you take a drone shot look at the entirety of the field, second pack forming some battles, but the race lead now in jeopardy. Ross Cato down to the bottom side looking to take the top spot, and now he's got a chance to do so. Bottom side occupied by the number 12 machine. He's looking for the race lead, but it looks like the advantage is still with the number 18 in Cody Smith. Cody Smith going to be working it on the high side with Kyle Trudell there in third. Sam Nito going to be in fourth with Nick Tarbuck in fifth, but Cato's now got the advantage. Bottom side working wonders for him, and he's going to try to lead it with only 30 laps to go in this event. Now Cato on the bottom side has the run, and it's going to be Cody Smith playing catch-up as they come around to the stripe, this time through new race leader. It's Ross Cato. And with 30 laps to go, it's a fierce battle up in front. Ross Cato going to be scored in the first spot. Kyle Trudell going to be just behind him on the inside line in third. But for Cody Smith and his Next Level Racing 18, he occupies position number 2, coming out of corner number 1. Next Level Racing, high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. If you want to learn more about their products, visit nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast for more information on what they offer. Been going at it since 2009. High quality products for dedicated sim racers. If you want those, check it out. nextlevelracing.com is the place to be for all your sim racing needs. Proud partner of the Integrity Racing League as well. We'll be right back after a brief promotional message with 30 laps to go. And now, with only 29 laps remaining, it's Kyle Trudell up in front of the field as we took our second Next Level Racing promotional break of the day. Back at the action here, the Pocono Raceway up in front. It's the rookie in the number 7. Ross Cato going to be just behind in second, and Sam Nito still going to be there in third as Jay Haishman has trouble down a pit road. The number 06 goes, and Nicholas Ward back on the track in 10th gains a spot or two as the 06 makes his way in. Looks to be a problem now for the 06 machine of Jay Haishman going down a pit road a bit early in going here. So we'll see if there's any problem with his car that we have not noticed as they go through turn 3 this time around. 06 machine just looks to be a bit slower than those ahead of him, and he's going to get loose and dive it down a pit road by force. Able to keep it together, lock it down nice and straight, but he'll lose a lot of time regardless, and it looks like he will put it into pit road and end his night just like that. All the same, Kyle Trudell is your race leader, and as they come around this time by, it is still number 7 machine as the man in front. Ross Cato there in second, and Sam Nito still in third. Leading driver still going to be the number 7 machine with 27 laps remaining. Time is running out for each and every member of the field. If you want a position, you might have to begin taking them here and now. Crunch time in a full effect. Every driver here, well, they know it. Nick Tarbuck in the number 4 machine is there in fourth, but he's got Jacob Fife still aggressively clawing at him, just a few tenths behind. For Seth, well, he's been able to regain quite a few positions, but got stalled out at about the 6th place marker. Top 5 he's not yet been in, It looks like he's still just behind Jacob Fife, looking to make the move when the time is just right. He'll wait for now, still has an opportunity to go at it, but here, won't take it. 36 machine gets loose though, and he's going to lose a lot of time. Now Noel going to drop down to the bottom of his bumper, almost go down to the low line to try to make a pass. He'll keep Fife in the running, got the draft once again, so it's going to be a minor slip-up if anything, but it keeps him still in contention, with Seth Well helping him to get back on the right foot. Kyle Trudell still leads with 26 remaining. It's going to be almost side-by-side between your second and third place drivers, as now Jacob Fife, looking down on the bottom side, tries to make a move to get inside the podium. Doesn't look like it worked that time by though. Seth Well gonna still stay in that 6th spot, and he finds himself once again on the quarter panel of the 36. Taking a look on board with the number 9 once again. He's gonna back it up into turn 3. Now go to the bottom side of Jacob Fife and try to make the move stick here and now. He's got Jacob Fife just above him. It looks like he still gets that momentum and pushes out of the final corner much better than Seth does when on the attack. Now, on the attack is Jacob Fife. Still has multiple drivers he'd like to pass just ahead. He was the race leader before, is your stage winner, and now looking to do things right, get himself back up in front. He's going to have to make it by this second group, as it's a 2-car breakaway. Kyle Trudell and Ross Cato, 2 drivers who don't have a first win on the season just yet. You don't know how aggressive they'll get to get this win. It could be a huge fight to the finish here if these 2 continue to break away. Trudell's had the advantage for most of the race, but Ross Cato has had a few laps up in the lead of this one. We might see these 2 going at it till the end. Experienced winners of the season such as Sam Nito, Nick Tarbuck, and Jacob Fife all remain just behind, as Nito now sees himself just ahead of Seth Well. Seth's going to go down to the bottom side this time through. He's got a chance, but he'll try to keep himself in tow. Once again, he sees that he's got the opportunity to go down to the bottom on Jacob Fife, and now he'll take it, but to no avail. 24 laps remaining here in the Xtreme Mountains 200, and time is running out. If Seth wants to make that move, he'll have to make it sooner than later. Dell still has the advantage. Ross Cato still on his back bumper, taking a rear view shot from your race leader. That machine goes through the tunnel turn without much hesitation, down through the Indianapolis-inspired corner, now onto what's considered the Milwaukee Miles most similar corner. 6 degrees of banking, very little. You gotta work off the best line you can use. Looks like Trudell uses a much higher line than the man in that number 12 machine. Decides to put himself on the second groove rather than the first, and it looks like it pays off even still. 23 laps remaining this time by. Trudell's got the advantage, not too far behind. It's Ross Cato. And the 12 machine of Ross Cato still there in second as they get strung out even further. Closest battle on the racing circuit is Fife and Tarbuck that time by. Looks like Nick Tarbuck might have gotten it a bit loose. It stays just ahead of the number 36. 23 to go this time by will lead to our 22 lap to go. Crank it up here on FTN, courtesy of Track Cams Performance, the highest quality iRacing cameras on the market, with over 100 car and track combinations here that we use on FTN each and every week of our broadcasting action. If you love the cameras, you can check them out at the trackcams22.com site or their official Facebook, as we present to you uninterrupted on FTN a Crank It Up with 22 laps to go. And now with only 19 laps remaining on the board, it is Kyle Trudell up in front of the Xtreme Mountains 200 here in Pocono. Returning from our Crank It Up here on FTN, the number 7 machine still has that lead, but the battle for the second spot has shifted just a bit. Now, just in frame, you'll see Ross Cato there in the number 12 machine. Sam Nito going to be in that third spot, and Nick Tarbuck there in fourth. Just behind is involved himself in the podium battle as well. Sethwell did indeed get by the Jacob Fife machine. It is now Sethwell in fifth, trying to chase down the few drivers he's got ahead of him to maybe make a late race charge at this race lead. Up high, Kyle Trudell would go big time using a much higher line to get a much better exit, but Ross Cato that time by looks superior compared to him and Sam Nito. Now Cato's going to put himself back in the conversation, and he finds himself just behind the number 7 with only 18 laps left. Looking throughout the field, this is the only battle that is this close except for the one in the second pack. Now it's going to be Cody Smith, who's on the older set of tire compared to everyone else, still hanging on, waiting for a caution. 33 laps on this set of rubber, and he makes it by Alan Dobbs quite easily that time through, with Nicholas Ward now going side by side with him as well. Ward gets by that time through. It looks like Cody Smith able to make it through as well. Easy pass there as the 05 machine lays back just a bit more. Gonna squeeze that number 84 machine as Alan Dobbs is having big trouble holding on to the spots that he has. Turn 3 gonna be side by side between these two drivers, and Dobbs is gonna let off the power there. Let the 84 by, fading back to 11th. Now outside the top 10. Side by side for your race lead, though. Now going to be Ross Cato up in front, and it looks like the number 12 machine gets him from both Kyle Trudell and Sam Nito. Nito going to be down on the bottom side this time through. Nick Tarbuck going to be there in third, and now the number 4 machine just ahead of the 7 as they go side by side. It's door to door with 17 to go, and Seth, well, I'll tell you this much, just behind the battle now, involving himself, might be able to give a shot to Kyle Trudell that works. And even still, Ross Cato's got himself out in front. Cato, with the advantage, has himself in first. Sam Nito then going to be there in second with Nick Tarbuck in third. And from there on out, Jacob Fife now going to be side by side with Kyle Trudell. Looking on back, you got Cody Smith still in the mix too. Don Stevenson in the 47 is now in 7th. While the first pack is small, there's many drivers still looking to be a front runner. Very little time remaining. 65 laps ended up a total of 80, and it's Noel who finds himself now on the back bumper. Trudell going down to the low side to make the pass stick. Looks like the 9 machine's got a shot to take it, and that he does. Now it's going to be Seth in position number 4, just outside the podium. And take a look at that, he gets loose immediately thereafter. Now Trudell gets himself back in fourth, and it's a risky move from Sethwell. Does not immediately pay off, so he'll just get the spot back the turn after. Side by side, once again, going to be Sethwell there in that 4th spot for just a moment. Kyle Trudell remains just outside the podium instead, with Sethwell hanging on within the top 5. It's going to be Nick Tarbuck there in the number 66 machine in terms of laps. 4 on the number panel, and making it 66 laps in so far, putting himself to work. Gotta make it just 15 laps more to have a chance at this race win. He's in third right now, just behind Sam Nito. He might try to push it this time by. We'll see what he does as he finds himself connected to the top 3 train, and with such little time remaining, the aggression might be up. And Cato, with this race lead, has it on the high side, but Sam Nito's coming down on the bottom. 15 laps remaining, and now there's a shot down to the bottom side, but it'll get blocked immediately. Cato remains out in front. Now with 14 laps remaining, it's still the same race leader in that number 12. Sam Nito going to occupy the 2nd spot, but he'll dive down to the bottom once again. That's been his big claim to fame in this battle, trying to use that lower end of the track to make a pass work. Hasn't been able to make it stick for sure just yet, but he definitely knows what he's trying to do. The question is, can he do it the right way to get around the number 12? Hasn't been able to do so far, but looks like there's still a chance. But Nick Tarbuck just behind. He'll have to make it work sooner than later. Pressure is mounting, and the battle just outside of the podium is aggressive too. Now Kyle Trudell going to be passed by Jacob Fife. This moves Jacob Fife up inside the top 5, but he gets wiggled off of the final turn. This is going to move Kyle Trudell up into 5th again. Well is there in 4th, Nick Tarbuck's there in 3rd, Sam Nito's going to be still with Ross Cato, and the Baker's dozen is out. 13 laps remaining with Ross as your leader. Cato finds himself out in front. Then going to be Sam Nito still there in 2nd. Top 2 drivers as it stands. Going to be the 12 and the number 2, and they are coming up on lap traffic. Alan Rowell, number 43 machine. He's got big damage on his number 43, and I'm not quite sure if that's going to be sustainable to keep on going at all. But still, he keeps chugging. He's got himself on the circuit even still. Nicholas Ward going to be in trouble down to the apron. And it looks like he's now back on his way, getting it all together as they move by the lap machine. The leaders make it by quite easily. 13 laps to go to make it 12. Now, 69 laps in. It's been a nice run up in front, but the question still remains. Who has the car to win? Is it going to be Ross Cato, or is it going to be the new race leader in Sam Nito? Sam drops it deep, now has himself up in front, but washes right up high once again with Ross Cato now down to the bottom side all over. Number 12 goes down to that bottom, makes it work and stick again. They're side by side for the lead. Nick Tarbuck still in 3rd. Number 4 machine of Nick Tarbuck going to be able to stay inside the podium here. And even though he's seen both drivers ahead of him get aggressive, he's not yet made the move that could get him up to the lead. Trying to let these guys do his bidding for him. Let them get aggressive. Let them get close to wrecking. And it looks like now he's going to see it pay off. Getting by Ross Cato, who pushed himself a bit too hard through the final corner. Turn 3 going to be a bit too tricky for him. He'll fade back, and now it's going to be the 4 and the number 2. 1 versus 1 up at the front of the field for the race win. Only 11 laps remaining as we stand here in the Pocono Mountains. The Xtreme Mountains 200 has seen hard-fought racing all throughout, but now the question really is, which one of these drivers, is it going to be Nick Tarbuck or Sam Nito, come home with the win at the end of this race? It's going to be 11 laps to go with another lap machine ahead. That's Guillermo Alvarez, and Alvarez 22 laps down. Going to stay up high through turn 3 and let the leaders go right by. All 3 of the top 3 make it by immediately, then followed by Seth Well and Jacob Fife. And as they come down once again, now Fife and Well try to work with each other side and side, up and down. They'll try to take it through, but nothing comes of it. 10 laps to go this time around, and it's Sam Nito still up in front. He leads the top 10 with Nick Tarbuck 2nd, Ross Cato 3rd, Seth Noel in 4th, and Jacob Fife there in 5th. Then going to be Kyle Trudell now in 6th with Don Stevenson in 7th. Cody Smith in the Next Level Racing number 18 is in 8th, with Alan Dobbs 9th and Jorge Canales in 10th. And for the number 18 of Cody Smith, representing Next Level Racing and the number 18 team, holding down very well all race long, winner of the Integrity Octane Series Championship, wins a sim rig courtesy of Next Level Racing with a $2,000 value. So you want to stick around for the championship race, subscribe to the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel, and after tonight's broadcast, check out the Next Level Racing Discord. We'd love to have you aboard as Cody Smith pits this time by. For a new set of tire, be sure to visit Next Level Racing for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. We'll be right back. And now, with only 8 laps remaining here in the Pocono Raceway, it's going to be a side-by-side battle, and it is fierce. Welcoming you back to the presentation after our final Next Level Racing promotional break. It is Sam Nito, Nick Tarbuck, side-by-side, and they've been going at it fiercely for several dozen laps. Now, with the final stretch in mind, 8 laps to go to prove what you got. It's the 4 and the number 2 who worked their way off the backstretch in tandem, but it is Nito with the minor advantage. Now, Sam finds himself up in front, leading the way. Not too far behind, going to be Nick Tarbuck and Ross Cato there in third, with Seth Noel fourth, and then Jacob Fife in fifth. Fife still going to be in the picture as Seth Well now dives deep, and he's putting on the jets, going up to third. Number 9 machine now is going to be in the picture as they come around for what's going to be only 7 laps to go. Jacob Fife chooses to drop down to the bottom. This is going to box in Seth Well, making it a 3-car bundle just behind your leading 2. Going to spread out your leaders once again. Nick Tarbuck with the advantage, 74 laps in, has the race lead. Going to be Sam Nito laying back once again. Sam Nito going to hold on just on the second position, and as you take a look on board, he's going to have to work that number 2 machine if he wants any chance at the top spot. Now on board, 4th gear, not going to shift. He'll go into turn number 2, the tunnel turn, staying in 4th. Lets Tarbuck get the run out of the corner, but thanks to the slipstream, he'll be right back in just a moment's notice. Looking at him go through turn 4, easily makes it through in 4th gear, 7,000 revs a minute, and the exit out the corner number 3 is substantial. Now Nito's got a shot to go down to the bottom once again and make it a total of 6 laps remaining. A fantastic drive through for that number 2. Has a shot to take it deep into corner number 1. Does he use it? Looks like he will not. They'll stay side by side with nothing major changing. Nick Tarbuck stays just behind your race leader now, and with 6 to go, it is Seth Noel now in third. Can the number 9 machine join this party, insert himself into the conversation, and find himself potentially as the race winner? That remains to be seen. Now there's an opportunity for him to join this 2-car battle and make it a party of 3. Nito going to be up on the high side now with Nick Tarbuck working right down low. 6 laps remaining. This time by, number 4 machine's got the edge, 75 laps in. And if they come around this time through, it will only be a total of 5 laps remaining. Top through have a big of a breakaway. And that breakaway, while minor, it is substantial with such a small amount of time left. Now Seth Wells going to be all over the back bumper of Nick Tarbuck, trying to make something stick. He'll go way up high, and it looks like the high side's where he'll get a good run to use through the tunnel turn. Setting himself up for the later turns. That's how Seth Wells has been driving the corners each and every time around at a speed of over 185 miles an hour through turn 2. They're going to back it down, but it looks like clearly the number 9 machine was the quickest entering, but he's going to have some trouble that time through getting really worked over by Ross Cato side by side through turn 3 now. For the 3rd spot, it looks like Cato gets it. Now, as they come around to make it 4 laps remaining, Sam Nito has the edge over Nick Tarbuck, and the top 2 drivers are swerving up and down the track to try to break the draft. Every driver in this front pack is following. Randy Fife would have been in trouble that time by. Looks like he's still going to be in 12th. No major worry for a caution right now, as the rest of the field stays very far behind your race leaders. Lap traffic coming up once again. This time it's going to be the form of John Steele. Steele right now occupies the 15th position and finds himself there 50 seconds behind your race leader. Sam Nito comes through the picture at corner number 2 with a vengeance. He's got a lot of speed, and he's trying to make it away from your driver just behind, Nick Tarbuck. There in position number 2. For Tarbuck, he's got 1 win of the season already. However, he got it after the checkered flag flew. A penalty given to Seth Well gave the number 4 the victory, and he's looking to chase down his first victory stripe to stripe this season. He's setting up a run once again with 3 laps remaining. Try to go at it later, as the later you do it, the better you got a shot to take home the win without getting a switch over. Now it looks like Sam Nito's got a major advantage of 0.3 of a second. The draft is going to pull them all back together, however, and this lead is only going to be temporary, as both Tarbuck and Ross Cato are chasing down your leader as quick as they can. Nito still has the advantage with 3 laps remaining, and it looks like now going through turn 3, both those behind him will chase him down, as Seth Well is faded back into 4th, and Jacob Fife is now in 5th. It's 2 packs up in front. The number 2 machine, though, leads this one, and for winning just 2 weeks ago, it looks like the momentum has kept him up in front week after week. 2 laps remaining for Sam Nito, looking to go for 2 wins in 3 weeks, but Nick Tarbuck is still right there with him and might have a chance to dive it through the final few laps and make it a very close call at the end. Side by side is only going to be seen further on in the pack. Jacob Fife and Seth Well were side by side for just a moment, and it looks like they still will be just inch to inch between these 2 drivers. Now, door banging just a bit. Jacob Fife gonna take it through the corner once again and find himself side by side with Noel, but Bear not contending for lead at the moment. It is Nito, Tarbuck, and Ross Cato. Cato drops down to the bottom side on Tarbuck, trying to take that second spot away. All eyes, though, are on your race leader as Sam Nito brings it down with 1 lap remaining this time by, taking us home to the white flag here in the Xtreme Mountains 200. And with the major advantage up in front, 0.5 of a second now, it looks like Nito's been able to break that draft successfully and give himself a chance to go for the win, undisputed. However, that time through, Nick Tarbuck sends it deep into the corner, trying to make up time. It's going to be 0.4 of a second as the draft begins to get put up and down. Nito tries to break the draft. He doesn't do it all too aggressively, though. He does lose 1/10 of a second of his lead through corner number 1. Now through turn 2, Tarbuck giving it all he has, makes it a 0.3 of a second race, and now Sam Nito might have to worry through the final corner. No turn 4, it's a lunge through turn 3, and Tarbuck sends it deep, but for Sam Nito, it looks like the run off the corner will be enough. Second win in only 3 weeks, Sam Nito's back to victory lane, getting it done in the Xtreme Mountains 200, winning here at the Pocono Raceway. Sam Nito's back on top. The number 2 machine wins yet again and finds himself back in victory lane with his new look in that Verizon number 2. Able to outlast the rest on that final run home. Victory lane has suited him well as of recent, and he has dominated the second half of the season, getting yet another victory. It comes his way as he gets a bit of a bang there from Ross Cato. Pocono Raceway is his tonight. Sam Nito gets it done as he takes the victory lap here in the Pocono Raceway, and we'll bring up your results here. 22 drivers start, and 14 finish on the lead lap. And as we come down to the stripe, it is Sam Nito winning by 0.3 of a second over Nick Tarbuck. Ross Cato comes home third with Seth Well 2 seconds off in fourth, side by side with Jacob Fife almost to the line. Then going to be Don Stevenson 6th with Kyle Trudell 7th, Ettore Canales 8th, and Alan Dobbs in 9th with Kevin Matz then in 10th. Going to be Trevor Trago 11th with Randy Fiash 12th and Cody Smith in 13th. Brad Patton's going to come home 14th with John Steele in the 15th spot, and Alan Rowell 10 laps down comes home then in position number 16. Nicholas Ward going to be 17th as a retiree with Guillermo Alvarez 18th, Jay Haishman 19th, and Ryan Farrell 20th. Kyle Cooper then at 21st, and Mike Maddox 22nd and last on the board as your race winner burns it down in Long Pond. As Sam Nito burns it down and leaves the track, he comes home with his second win of the second half. He has been dominant as of recent, and yet again, the number 2 machine finds himself finishing position number 1. It's Sam Nito, your race winner here in the Xtreme Mountains 200, winning yet again. The number 2 finds himself able to tackle the tricky triangle. Sam Nito back again in victory lane here in the Xtreme Mountains 200. How does it feel after this win?
Hey man, it feels good. It feels good. I'm tired and drenched in sweat, but it feels good to come out here and win on a track that I probably coming in, I didn't think I had a chance, to be honest with you.
And the tricky triangle, always a tough one to master here. And with the next gens, it's even that much more difficult. Shifting sometimes comes into the picture. We saw tire strategy, drivers going for the stage break. All throughout, you stayed consistent and stayed up in front. What kept you up there?
Just taking my time. Tires here don't go away very fast. Draft is, everybody's running the same lap times and you're locked in a draft. And, you have to wait for the cars in front of you to start having trouble. And then, you might be able to get lucky and make a pass. I know I had to do a pretty aggressive slider on Ross to get by him. Otherwise, there's just no chance of making a pass because the outside lane is just too good. And especially whenever you have somebody to help push, you're just not going to make a pass on the inside. So it had to take a little bit of aggression, but luckily I did it cleanly, I think, and got by him and held on.
And we saw that pack racing was a big deal tonight, and the outside line came alive, especially down the straightaways with all the help the drivers got. How important was it for you to find the drivers to work with to keep yourself ahead?
Well, it's pretty, actually, it's ultra important. I had Nick behind me, and I was talking to him, telling him the only way we were going to get by Ross and Kyle is if we conserve here and not battle. But if he wanted to push the issue and battle me, then we both would have burned up our tires, and then Ross and Kyle could have just sailed off into the sunset. So just having Nick behind me and knowing that we were going to work together to improve both of our positions was key. I mean, if he wanted to battle there, like I said, we would have both heated up our tires and gone nowhere.
And it looks like managing how aggressive you gotta be gets the number 2 once again home with the checkered flag, winning the Xtreme Mountains 200. Sam Nito, any final thoughts to wrap off this race and interview?
I just like to thank Integrity Racing League. It's good, fun league to race in. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thank everybody that raced in tonight. It was a good race.
Yet again, Sam Nito comes home on top, winning his second half race of the season, dominant as of recent, getting it home here in the Pocono Raceway, first place. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And drag Sam Nito out and bring home your second position driver, just a few tenths of a second behind at the end. It's Nick Tarbuck, who comes home in the runner-up spot, the number 4 Chevy Camaro. Very close there, just a few tenths out of the victory. How was it here, the tricky triangle?
Oh man, it was fun. I mean, it was interesting to race because you really couldn't pass. It was very draft focused, but it was really fun, really technical, really fast, sweeping. My kind of track. Really had a good time, and I'm glad that Sam and I were able to get up to the front there.
And it looks like some teamwork up at the front of the field between you and Sam Nito there, pack racing all the way around. It looks like you two had the best of it to get away from the field. Can you tell us a bit more how it was like from your end?
Yeah, it was a lot of managing the rear tires, really. So it was just getting lucky with the pit cycle and pit stops and not ending up in the mid pack or in the rear because you really couldn't pass at will. So at the end of the race there, we kind of just decided to save tires and try to be really easy on the rear tires. And we knew that the guys up front were going to be pushing as hard as they could to stay up there. And we just kind of fell into that situation where we had saved enough tires and we were able to push at the end. And Sam saved just a little bit more. He was able to push off the corners just that little bit more that I couldn't quite do. And Ross was even catching up at the end. So second place, I'm not complaining at all.
And it looks like tire management played a role, as you mentioned. Most drivers on a 35-lap stint at the end, but some drivers choosing to take it a bit differently. How did you plan out the tires as the race went on?
Well, I don't really go into these races with much of a plan. So I think I just, whenever that last caution was when I pit, and I guess that was 35 to go. So that seemed to work out. I mean, it felt pretty comfortable. And luckily, we had no other cautions to bunch the field back up. So the race was able to play out naturally. But yeah, no real plan. Just kind of following the leader, honestly, and just trying to stay up there. And I don't know, man. I'm not smart enough to figure out the strategy stuff.
But nonetheless, able to still come home with quite a good finish here. Nick Tarbuck yet again on the podium, finishing here in the Xtreme Mountains 200 in the second position. Any final thoughts to wrap off the interview?
Yeah, man. Just want to say thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to the admins for putting on a race. Everybody for coming out. It was fun. Thanks for those of you that watched, parents, friends, if you all tuned in. And we'll see you guys next week in Michigan, man. Another fun track.
And looking to keep the momentum at the big tracks, Nick Tarbuck finishes here at the Tricky Triangle in the second spot. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
And from Nick Tarbuck, we'll move on to your final driver on the podium today. It is Ross Cato in the number 12 machine who brings it home in the third spot. Yet again, a threat for the win. Finds himself sitting on the podium nonetheless. Ross Cato, how do you feel after this race?
Of course, disappointed it didn't turn into a win, but I'm happy to be on the podium again. And yeah, just really grateful to be around some guys that I can trust, and we can race hard and just keep it pointed forward.
And it was aggressive all around on that final run with multiple drivers battling to the end. You stayed there with that 3-car pack at the front. How tough was it to work with these drivers when it really got aggressive?
Well, I took 2 tires on that last pit stop to gain some extra track position and to kind of help the car yaw a little bit better. And I found some speed on that higher lane in turn 3. And I knew if I could just protect the top that it would redound to my benefit, because if someone takes a look, maybe someone else can get to their side and side draft them back, and I could just kind of hold them at bay. But it was, like I said, very competitive. But at the same time, very fun, because it's just great to be around guys that you can trust, like Nick and Sam and Seth and Jacob, and I just had a blast.
It was fantastic racing all around, up in front, and we saw how precise most drivers had to be to make those lines work to keep the momentum up. How important was it for you when it came to momentum all race long?
Yeah, it was very important to keep that depth perception when you're side drafting, when you're trying to hug the wall to get a good, clean arc in, and to be as precise and surgical as you can be, so that you put just the perfect right load on the car to make it off the exit of the corner and have the fastest straightaway that you can. So it was definitely a lot of patience, a lot of persistence. And as we saw, a little bit of kind of pushing. I'm really thankful for, racing Kyle Trudell. Kyle pushed me back past, I think it was Smith, to the lead. And it was just really important to kind of gauge where guys were going to be in which lane and who they were going to try to work with at a moment's notice.
And with all that precision in mind, Ross Cato able to pick apart the field and find himself home here in the third position at the end of the day in the Xtreme Mountains 200. Any final thoughts to wrap off the interview?
Well, again, I'm just very grateful the contrast that this race was to our previous race. I'm really glad to have some nice long runs and to be around some drivers that really know what they're doing. And I'm very thankful to be finding speed as of late, and I hope I keep it up.
And there we have it, Ross Cato bringing the momentum week after week. Yet another podium finish here in the Xtreme Mountains 200. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Everybody have a wonderful week.
And there we have it, Ross Cato on his way in the number 12 machine. It is Cato who comes home in third, Nick Tarbuck in second, Sam Nito, who gets it done yet again, winning the Xtreme Mountains 200, presented by Extreme Performance Motorsports and Esports. Got to thank them for the special presentation of tonight's race here in the Long Pond, Pennsylvania area. Fantastic to be here for the Tricky Triangle yet again. Number 2 machine brought the speed with a fantastic battle with the leaders all throughout the race. and it was a great one to watch from our end here in the broadcast booth. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Croy. It's great to be along with you here in the Integrity Racing League, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Xtreme Mountains 200, the 18th race of the Integrity Octane Series season in 2023. We hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation, and once again, greatly appreciate your support of this channel. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed this race, and we once again hope to see you whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank you all, and we hope you have a great night.